Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello, hello. Welcome one and all to the Blockchain Dynamic Show.
All right, what's up?
Hey, my name is Brandon Doge,
And I'm Woody.
and this is episode number 70.
70.
We did it. We done did it. We got to episode 70.
That's something.
Ain't nothing to it, I guess.
And every 10 episodes, we are so lucky so far to welcome special guest, Not So Fast.
Hey guys, lucky so far because it may
You never know.
It's
May
true.
turn.
Just as the markets have turned, so shall our luck. No, we've been really fortunate so far to have been able to have Not So Fast with us every 10 episodes. He's here once again, so that's awesome. We're really appreciative of that.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Let's keep it going. Episode
700. Nice.
I can't
All
wait,
right.
dude.
Let's
do it.
Is
We're
that
gonna be
season,
like,
season 10?
Yeah, we'll be a brain in a jar at that point, but we'll keep it rolling if I can.
Hell
so
yeah.
always really great to have Not So Fast. The other thing that we do is every 10 episodes we do like a recap thing. We take a look back for the last 10, or in this case 11 weeks of crypto because we skipped a week.
That's right. We had to take a week off.
Got to.
You
That was the
deserved
pump week, too.
Yeah, that was like the most interesting week. It always is. So yeah, we got 11 weeks of roundup to cover here. So kicking it off, as always, we are brought to y'all by Cryptopia.
That's cryptopia.co.nz.
That's right, www.cryptopia.co.nz. Check them out.
They're your one-stop crypto shop.
Yeah, it's true. They're an up-and-coming altcoin exchange. They have a ton of interesting coins there. One cool new thing that they're rolling out, personal authenticators.
Yeah, it's a little bit old school, but I'm down.
I'm down too, man. I think it's great. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna check one of those out for
I
sure.
feel like we're all really into these hardware wallets and stuff. Essentially, a lot of those handheld authenticators might be a little, they might seem a little weird, like for your normal laptop. But I think for something like an exchange account, that's just the right way for, a lot of people. One thing I've noticed, especially all these new people coming into the scene, they're looking for something physical. They like to have the physical connection. So I think having like handheld authenticators, that kind of stuff, especially for things like exchanges that are historically, risky places to keep your money. I think that's a cool move.
Cool.
They have a ton of other features, of course, at Cryptopia. They got a great exchange, forums, mining, anything you could imagine.
I'm waiting for somebody, though, to build their authenticator into, like, a nice giant obelisk-type, maybe configuration, Mod that out.
That's
Mod
great,
that
yeah.
out a
Like
bit.
the
man.
stones of that island, the giant
Mhm.
stones on the island, just super secure because they
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
be moved
Yeah, it weighs
by
500
human hands.
pounds.
Even
You have to transfer your mana to the stone in order to authenticate. Yeah, that's it, man. That's the way we should be going. Stop by our Cryptopia forums thread. We're sticking it up there in the altcoin section of the Cryptopia forums. Check out the Blockchain Dynamics thread. We love it when people post and leave the feedback. We like ICO suggestions,
News suggestions.
and if you pop into the thread, we will give you some dots.
We sure will. And we also are going to give away 20,000 DOT later in the show today, which is actually a pretty dope prize right now.
Yeah, these days.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at these days. Dot's price is pretty
Dots are hot
high
now.
right now.
Yeah, so welcome to the show. Last week's question was, what is the name of the blockchain that has the Genesis date stamp of 13/39/30 on 11/30/2015?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, nobody
Nobody
got
got
that.
it.
I was curious,
Mhm.
basically, if anyone had a way to reverse engineer that information really quickly. Doesn't seem like anyone did offhand, but the answer would have been TurboCoin.
Hey.
Nice little.
Wow, that's ironic because that's my
Yeah, I know.
favorite coin.
I really wanted to piss you off with that one.
Exactly. We wanted you to have to hear about it today, so there it is. TurboCoin.
Well, consider me livid. I'm just mad that you would even talk about give airtime to such a terrible
Are they still on
cryptocurrency.
just Blue Trade only, or did they ever find a new home?
Except for where they're being trolled on Bittrex.
Yeah, yeah. No, I believe they also trade on
right
NovaExchange.
NovaExchange.
Yeah, that's right, actually.
So,
All right.
the answer there was TurboCoin. Nobody got it. That means the dots from last week get rolled into this week's total.
Which is why it's 20K.
That's why it's 20K, and that question will come up at some point during the show.
But for now, we're going to go straight into our 10-week review.
Taking it back. We love to take it back. So
It's been 10 weeks since we spoke to Not So Fast, basically.
That's true.
And
10 weeks we were watching when
Yeah,
where we
exactly.
Yep, exactly.
And man, like I think you said it to me not so fast that I'm not sure we saw this bullish market coming, right?
No, we were already like pretty dancing around on our tippy toes for the prices we were seeing, and then just in the intervening 11 weeks, we kind of hit right at the cusp of like the parabolic movement on. It seemed like kind of
Right.
everything.
Yep.
Just for a little bit of perspective, specifically on that, at that point, Bitcoin was like $12.50 to $13.50, and it was still higher on Bitfinex than it was elsewhere.
Yeah, everybody was worried about the Bitfinex liquidity issues. You know, that was the big issue. I don't remember even what happened to that. Did that get resolved? I don't know. Did
I
it?
think
Oh.
it got solved. Yeah, I think it just took itself out once they. I don't know. I don't have an account there, so I wasn't even really paying close attention.
Another thing to note was 10 weeks ago, Ethereum was worth $48.40.
Quite a discount.
My.
So we had, for our show 60 roundup, we had 206 coins that got announced. About 20 of them made it to CoinMarketCap. Of those, the average market cap was about $500,000, and the median market cap was $32,000. And as we're going to see, those numbers are they're a lot different this time. It's pretty incredible. To kick it off, we're just going to look at the what we're calling a top 200 report. So what we've done here is we've taken a look at CoinMarketCap snapshots from 10 weeks ago. The date, what was the date 10 weeks ago? April 23rd.
Yep.
Was where we were at 10 weeks ago.
Yep.
So we're taking a look at what has changed in 10 weeks. So what we did is we grabbed a snapshot of what the top 200 coins on CoinMarketCap were.
That's coinmarketcap.com that we're basing it off of.
Yep. We grabbed that list from 10 weeks ago, and we're like, all right, what's happening with these coins today? So starting it off, the Bitcoin price was $13.38 according to CoinMarketCap. We're chilling at $25.48 right now.
Okay.
Not bad.
Wow.
That's definitely been the most intense change in the last 10 weeks. I feel like no matter where you were sitting alt-wise, your portfolio went up a lot because of that Bitcoin shift.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the new people measuring their portfolio value in dollars, that's what got them so excited and hot to trot for catching more altcoins and getting more
Right.
similar gains.
Of course, not to be outdone, Ethereum gained $195 in that time, despite what people not, it feels like it's crashed now, right? Because we saw it hit 400.
Yeah.
You go back 10 weeks, we're up $195, a 403% gain.
Oh, that's modest.
Ridiculous.
No, it's so funny to me.
4x
Like
on
Ethereum is probably one of the best investments you could have made ever if you were
Yep.
savvy enough to really pull that trigger. But not a lot were, obviously. Wasn't me. I'm not claiming that.
It's just one of the
Neither
things
am I.
that we've always noticed since we started keeping track of the markets is no matter how good you were at picking alts, like you could have picked the perfect basket of altcoins, you probably still would have been better off just picking Ethereum. It's done so well this year, which is cool. I mean, it's pretty impressive to see it coming from the highest market cap. We're used to that kind of stuff from the low market caps.
But, of course, that's a 10-week perspective. If we were to pull it back to maybe a 2-week perspective, we could have a different conversation.
Yep.
And some people trade on that period as well, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But sticking to the 10-week perspective, taking a look at the top 200 coins, 184 out of 200 are up versus US dollar.
Whoa!
145 out of 200 are up versus Bitcoin. So really impressive across-the-board gains for alts.
Now, that does include coins that were not previously within that range and came onto the scene from zero, right?
No, that doesn't. So
Okay.
that's if you look at if you go back, to April 23rd, that's looking at that list of coins. So the coins from back then, even all of those are basically almost all have gained in value.
Wow.
That's incredible. That's a huge. It's like I like to call it or think of it as a recalibration of what stuff is actually worth, and new money coming in and like getting in on stuff. Suddenly, that's the inflation of the entire market space as a whole is just reflected in the prices of the stuff that people are looking to buy.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's like it's hard to imagine. Again, 10 weeks ago, Ethereum was like $50, like we said, it's really hard to imagine Ethereum at 50 again. Not saying it couldn't happen.
No.
You know, like in the world of alts, that's well within the realm of possibility. But it's still,
Yep.
I mean, at this point, it is hard to imagine. You know, you feel like there's going to be such a long, if it were to ever get to that, it would
You'd
be
have
such a
can you imagine the
tough
emotion?
struggle.
You'd have a lot of excited and disappointed people
yeah,
at that
exactly.
point. Like,
Everybody, oh, cheap Ethereum.
Well,
cheap Ethereum, Ethereum's dead. You know the drill.
well, wouldn't that be like a mirror of the whole Litecoin thing? Like when it hit $40 and then went to like $4 or $3 and stayed there
Yeah.
for 2 years. Like Ethereum could be the new rock, but this
Right.
it could not go.
No, I think
Oh my
I
God.
feel you. I feel you. Not so
go up
fast.
till, like,
I think that a lot of
2019.
that. I've always been a big proponent of the longevity of blockchains in general, and I think that Litecoin maybe shows how that is something that might be able to continue to be a thing. Like those people that waited out that Litecoin
Right.
dip, they're happy right now.
That's true. It's funny to compare it to Litecoin, too, because if you look at the direct comparison, like in 2013, the last time Bitcoin had a big run, and it's like, you know, we've always talked about this dynamic where Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go down. That kind of that flipped this 10 weeks in a huge way, obviously, and in a huge way. And so now, and that happened last time, right? Last time, right when Bitcoin hit its frenzy, Litecoin blew up to $50 or whatever, and then it tanked. So that's a really fun direct comparison, and it will be really fun to see this time how Ethereum fares, because even though Litecoin did blow up back then, it never reached anywhere close to the percentage of market share.
But nobody's called Ethereum the silver yet, right?
The smart. I mean, I don't know.
So
how
what
you're
are they?
gonna
What
top
are they
smart
going to
round.
reach for?
It's true. So yeah, that's a cool dynamic. It's going to be really sick to see how it plays out. Going back to the numbers here, if we look at the top 200 coins, they are up 400% versus US dollar for the total value of the index, up about 140% versus Bitcoin. Actually, some interesting numbers in here. The average change is about versus US dollar is about 370%. The median change is about 214%. That's looking at the top 200 altcoins from 11 weeks ago.
Right.
So what's interesting there is if you were to take a look at the actual overall market caps of altcoins, they're up way more than that. They're up like 10x or 15x or whatever the actual gain is in the absolute value of all these altcoins. And what that tells you is a huge percentage of that money is just the new money being generated by these new market caps from these new ICOs, all these token generation events. Like, if you were just kind of slow holding or investing kind of in the average altcoin over the last 10 weeks, if the coin that you bought is more than a few months old, it looks like, you know, on average, you maybe would have done 2 to 4x, which is a little bit deceptive when you think about what the overall gains in the market have been.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I mean, at that time, just buying a basket of what people were talking about would have netted you like annualized gains of the type of thing that traditional investors would see, you know, maybe after a good decade.
It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
One fun thing to look at, the top 10 gainers and losers. These are gains denominated in Bitcoin. So if you think in US dollar, it's going to be way more, but this is how much these coins have gained versus Bitcoin in the last 11 weeks.
All right, give it to us.
Number one, biggest gainer, Ant shares,
How much?
up 1,860%.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Christ.
It's insane. And that's China driven, right? I don't even understand that. I find myself wishing.
The translation barrier is
very
very much there with ant shares. I've always felt that. But it's a great coin, apparently.
It's a beautiful thing.
Another amazing one was Verge,
Yeah, this is sick.
because that's an old school one. Started out as Dogecoin Dark. Dogecoin Dark. Dogecoin Dark. That is now Verge, and that's up 1,511%
Jesus.
within that 10-week
My
period.
God.
This thing was like sub 1 sat, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah, I think so. I remember like buying it at 4 sats and feeling like an idiot because everybody else was
Yeah.
in it too. And
Yeah,
it's
oh
just
my
like,
God.
oh my God, I better not tell people about what my
Oh,
bag
no
is.
doubt, man. I bought it 2 and sold it 8. You know how it goes.
So yeah, if you held on to Verge, kudos to you, because that thing is, on a 10-week scale, to see these kind of numbers is incredible. Up 1,500%. Ash, ASCH, probably something that most people haven't heard of. We talked about it a little bit last week.
We rolled at random last week.
Yeah, we caught it on our random coins, but
It's
that's another Chinese
coin.
It was a good random roll.
Go ahead, not so fast.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that was a good
Yeah,
random
it's an interesting one. Do you ever have you ever traded any of these Chinese exchanges or anything?
No. Just because for a lot of them you need to be a Chinese national, like input ID, and I'm not going to divulge who it is, but I know that an American user who sourced someone to open them an account on a Chinese exchange, I think Huobi, got their stuff stuck, their credentials stuck, or something was changed, and they required an ID update, and he's kind of stuck in a place where he can't really pay another national to go get his account stuff for him, because that person will probably just loot his account rather than hand it over to him or demand, hold half the stuff on there for ransom. So it's a little bit risky if you don't have someone that you fully trust or have some leverage over, I guess, who's Chinese national to do it. Like, they've pretty effectively walled.
No, we pretty much looked at the
exchange.
exchange. Well, when we were taking that random look, we looked at that, and we looked at the exchange that it was listed on, and we did not have access to it. That is pretty much what you're talking about.
Well,
Yeah. You can even get. Well, it's hard to get a Chinese IP. I mean, I don't even know a way to do it.
so yeah, that's Ash, but there's a lot of other interesting winners that we can trade. Redcoin, up 1,180%. Polo D-list survivor.
That's amazing. Yeah, Polo D-lister. Cloakcoin up 669%.
What?
Quark Coin up 600%. BitShares up 586%. Digibyte up 569%. SiaCoin, that's right, it's still up 530%. And Salus is up 446%.
Sweet Jesus.
Wow. Whoa. A lot of those
That's
coins were
mind-blowing.
already actually really well distributed and held. Is the crazy
And well
part?
valued, man.
Like the crazy part about Verge going up that much, it was that it wasn't one person holding that Verge.
No way, man.
That was a legitimate somebody buying a lot of fucking Verge, and a lot of people buying a lot of Verge in the hype.
The markets were hot, man.
Just amazing to see, like, and everybody had like Digibyte too. I think a lot of people had like SiaCoin as well. Like, everybody was participating in these markets earlier on, and so many people got exposed to these gains. I can't imagine most of them sold right away. I think people held long enough to see where all of this stuff was going. So congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
I think everybody that's around,
rich people
even
out there.
at this point, if you're coming in right now or if you've been here for 5 years, you probably deserve a pat on the back. A little one. Just a little one. Give yourself a tiny one.
Yeah.
This is what we waited for, man. It's awesome. It feels great. And, there's a lot of, like, it's funny that it's in, like, the last couple of weeks how much anxiety is built up in traders, despite the fact that the last 10 weeks have been so incredible overall.
Right. I know. It is hard because when you hit that all-time high, you know it's going to stop, but, like, when and...
Yeah. How far can you push it?
I've never been into, like, hard drugs, but I can imagine it's a similar feeling.
Exactly. Give me those gains. Hook them up. Seriously, that's how it feels. It's like everything that's happened since, like, the Bitcoin 3000, like the true peak of the whole market. Like, it's all just been kind of like a little bit gray because you're so used to the intensity of what it was like.
One people want to speculate on Bitcoin's price specifically, which correlates to the entire market, and is it going to go up or down from here? Nobody really knows, even right now.
Nobody knows. Looking at the losers.
Yeah.
Losers from the last 10 weeks.
Let's look at those. We got the POSW coin. That's the one that had the exchange. They're
Built
down.
in.
They're down 93%.
Ooh, that coin was looking so good.
Ouch.
Shadow Cash is down 92%, but that's on a swap basis, so I don't know if there's any difference there.
Right.
Veltor's down 87%. Z Classics down 84%. YoCoin's down 83%. eDinar's down 76%. Incent down 65%. Trump Coin also down 65%. Centurion down 61%. And Woodcoin down 50%.
Hilarious.
I've never bought any Woodcoin, even though I've always been like, dang, that one's got my name in it.
Yeah, it's a cool coin. I tried to mine it, or that no, they call it wood chopping instead
Right.
of mining.
Yeah.
So I tried to chop it. I could not figure it out. It's very, very dense and very esoteric, and it trades on CCX, so not a ton of people really into interesting coins. Only really scammy ones over there. So, but what a weird set for the losers too. It's more like a lot of short-term flavors versus long-term.
You really see a big
action.
difference between the gainers and the losers there, don't you?
Yeah, like you can tell, okay, this is what's likely to lose 87% of its value.
Let's be
I
honest,
see.
the story of the last 10 weeks as far as coins go has been Bittrex, really. You look at the gainers, that's just a big old list of Bittrex coins. You look at the losers, that's a big list of mostly Yobit, a couple Bittrex coins, but mostly Yobit, CCX type stuff. So
Right.
an interesting kind of, I guess, something that would have been obvious before, but really has stood out during this pump, is that Yobit was kind of in a weird, fucked up way in like 2015.
They might have been number 3.
Yeah, your best gains in 2015 and maybe early 2016 might have been on Yobit.
They may have been.
But that dynamic has changed in a big way, and I think for the better. Really happy that a lot of this activity's moved to Bittrex.
Oh, agreed. And Yobit's just kind of sailing so far out to sea on its own strange journey that like I feel like it's always going to have, because it undergoes so many unsustainable long-term pumps. I feel like it might provide like half of this biggest loser list, until something else ridiculous comes, to that exchange, like everything becomes
Someone
a rise on the
surpasses
market,
them.
locked up permanently.
Well,
So-
and one, I mean, we'll actually get a chance to talk about a little bit more about Yobit coming up, but one thing that you're getting at that I've noticed is they basically have the authority to make anything into a rise-only market at their discretion. That's just not chill. So,
For those of listeners out there that don't know what a rise only market is, it's when they lock the market so that you can't put out any sell orders above the inside price. So you can't sell to the bid. You can only sell to a certain amount at each price level on the offer side, and usually that level is very thin. So what happens is you just park yourself somewhere there and hope in months or years that your sell order will get hit, and it's just kind of an ongoing, rolling, very Ponzi-like
I dipped
type
my
thing.
toe into
So-
into the pond of rise only markets when they first came up with it, and I always did it wrong. They did it so they did like they did the rise only market. I bought in too late, and then they did like a reset on Yovi, and I was like, oh god damn it, they reset it, and I panicked and I dumped. I sold all my Yovi. Then they turned the rise only market back on, and I was like, god damn it. So then they came out with Wealth, which was the next rise only market. I was like, all right, I got it, I got this. I'm gonna do this. I'm totally gonna do this right this time. And then so I bought into Wealth, and of course they did the exact same thing. I did it totally wrong again. They like reset the market, and I dumped it again at a huge loss. It was so stupid.
so yeah, they got it.
but
They
it's really
got it
just trying to
figured out.
fathom them
They got
a
it.
little bit, yeah. They do.
Always, of course, you should. This is Yobit. It's like if you have anything more than fun money on there, I would advise you to reconsider.
Precisely.
So
Yeah.
that was the list of the losers from the last 10 weeks. One fun thing to look at is a list of coins that have dropped off of CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, like what isn't there anymore? This actually has a couple different situations. It might be that somebody rebranded, changed their ticker, or it might be that they've totally dropped off the radar, and that can be a temporary thing or it can be a permanent thing.
It's true. So not so fast. Do you feel like firing off this list here?
Yeah, sure. So we got coins that are no longer on CoinMarketCap. CreditBit Dubai Coin, which swapped to DIBX. Quora, Pepe, Z-Dash, Horizon, Cannabis Industry Coin, Biker Coin, Scott Coin, Get Gems, Rare Pepe Party, Tattoo Coin, Noi Coin, Karma Token, Green Coin, Granite, Homali Coin, All Safe, Guarani, Ham Radio Coin, Mbit Books, Cash Out, and World Gold Coin. A lot of those I recognize from when Blue Trade did a stealth mass delisting a bunch of
interesting.
coins that was their
Nice.
final home. And then a few of those are swaps, like Dubai Coin is the one I know of, and Pepe might be because people are calling it meme.
CreditBit and Pepe are ticker changes. Z-Dash changed to Hush.
Yep.
Homily is one that I almost recognize, but there it is, dropping out.
It was in our new coins list. Some of these are from our new coins list, just like generic coins.
Oh, they came in and dropped during the same time.
Yeah,
period.
NBitBooks, Somali coin, or coins that drop like that. Some are old coins that you might have thought had potential that have dropped off. Cannabis Industry Coin.
Yeah, actually, that one's surprising to me a little bit.
Scott Coin.
Also, some of that is at the discretion of CoinMarketCap themselves, and I mean, we don't have any contact with them. We have no idea what their criteria exactly.
So anyway, those coins are gone. They're done. They're off the list. And that brings us to the next big list. This is the coins that got added to CoinMarketCap in the last 11 weeks.
This list is actually way more interesting.
So we have 137 additions to CoinMarketCap. Now, if you remember our stats from earlier, last time we did this, 20 was what we came up with.
Yeah.
So the difference, there's a bit of a difference there. So we actually have computerized our tracking now, and so we can see essentially we have a much wider net of the different kind of coins that get added to CoinMarketCap. And so we walked back in time to see if we had done an update using this automated method from show 60 to 70, we would have had 80 coins that actually got added. So our normal sweep was only catching about 20 of those, which is pretty interesting.
Right, and that was our manual sweep, basically.
Yeah, that was us watching Bitcoin talk, basically.
So this one represents specifically coins that were added to CoinMarketCap.
Yep, so not all new coins. Some are old. Some of them just weren't on before and got added. But there's 137 of them total, which is an insanely huge number. And so I thought it'd be fun just to walk through this list here real quick. There's a ton of them, so we won't talk about every one, but if there's any that stand out to you not so fast, feel free to holler.
Let's just go from the top to the bottom, right?
Yep, the first thing you're going to see.
Yeah, just
so the first one's IOTA. That's the top of the list.
EOS, Veritasium. It's going to be a ton of ICOs, right? The top 10 is all huge new FICOs. IOTA, EOS, Veritasium, Gnosis, Status, MCAP, Basic Attention Token, Bancor, 10X, and Aragon. That is just a lot of ETH tokens at the top.
We couldn't have even spoke about any of those 10 weeks ago.
Yep, it's true. They didn't exist.
Wow.
So,
and just looking at the totals that were added, like if you add up the market caps of those that were added, that's over $2 billion.
Easily, yep. The first actual proof of work coin, this is funny, that jumps in there is LeoCoin.
LeoCoin is the first proof of work coin.
Which my understanding is that's like a decentralized, like pre-owned coin type blockchain.
It's a coin that not a lot of traditional miners have any access to.
Right, yeah. It's like EDR or some of those weird coins.
So there's that one. And that's sitting sitting pretty over there.
The first thing that's like an actual platform is Wings at number 15. There's Wings and ETH. Wings is an ETH token too, isn't it? Is Wings an ETH token?
I thought it was its own tokenizable platform. I never really got into it. It was an ICO, but
we have Elastic chiming in at number 20. That's pretty interesting. That's was in progress for a long ass time. Finally came out.
Oh yeah.
I find interesting little ones you can see popping in like Numerai, who, that was a relatively unknown chain whatsoever, and here it is popping in at number 17 with 34 million.
Jesus.
Kidding me, dude?
Crazy.
That's insane. That was highly there was some weird pricing to do with that too. Like they pay artificial intelligence or algorithm developers to create automatic self-learning trading things, and you pay scientists around the world, and I think they raise like tens of millions of dollars, and they have so far paid out scientists like collectively like dozens of them, I think 200 grand. So we were doing some speculation and just number crunching on Twitter and seeing like where exactly is this premium coming from. Like they haven't paid anybody anything hardly, and yet they have this value. Like this can't be all future earnings priced in. Like what is the reason for this? And the reason is probably Ethereum hype, money machine, making more money from the
they were able to reduce their payouts quite a bit recently as well. Somebody let us know from Cryptopia, shout out to Crypto Billionaire. Basically, eventually, on the first month, they were at a point where they were outputting so much money to those data scientists that it was a little overwhelming. Like, honestly, they outputted something close to, according to the market price, like $9 million worth of Numerai.
Jesus.
that was based on the like months of work that the people had done prior to it actually being released. But they adjusted that by a massive amount for the like future. Essentially, I don't think that, like a lot of markets, they weren't under control of what price it was going to be listed at. But it's all relevant. Super interesting.
So yeah, that's just like that's new stuff in the top 20 right there. Looking like from 21 to 30. Just a lot more Ethereum tokens I'm seeing. Quantum Resistant Ledger, Humanic, Token Card. It isn't...
Yeah, Unity Ingot's one.
Unity Ingot. Some of these, it's so 2014-esque, some of the themes of these coins. It's gold. Here's $17 million.
Or it's gambling. Gambling is another
Gambling
big
and
Gambling
gold.
and gold.
Yep.
Like, what's bigger?
The next non-Ethereum token in the list here, I guess Wager is a Waves token, so that counts. But DataBits at number 33. That's a 15 million. That's a counterparty token. Otherwise, man, it's incredible how many how many Ethereum tokens are in this list. It's like mind blowing.
Yeah, even Pluton's an Ethereum token.
BCAP,
That's at 40.
Matchpool, Monaco, all Ethereum tokens. Patientori, Pluton. That's like from 30 to 40 of the biggest market caps. Those are all Ethereum tokens. The next big one that's not an Ethereum token is Zencash at 42. And then CreditBit, which technically gets onto the list because it was a ticker change, but it's not actually a new coin.
Right.
I see APX Ventures. That's a new coin popping in at number 48 with 4.2 million market cap.
Yep, that's legit.
That ain't bad.
Not bad.
Hush coin at 51. This might be the most surprising coin for me of the list so far. Like, this is a coin made by this guy, the Stuhlman, who made like Goat Coin before. Just kind of joke coins.
Yeah, this could have easily gone either way.
Exactly, and it happened to go this way. This is the one that started out as Z-Dash, and he rebranded it to Hush. Here it is at 3 million market cap. The 51th most valuable of the new.
I like seeing X Currency right behind Hush too. That one was so far under the radar after a vicious FUD campaign, but it's closely tied to Blocknet, and I'm really into that. And they have there's still development going on. It's just done deeply off public forums. So
Yeah,
that's funny. The funny thing about those kind of coins is there's a lot on this list like X Currency that originally were not. It's like these are old coins. The reason that they're showing up is that 10 weeks ago they weren't seen by CoinMarketCap. They were so far under the radar. In the intervening 10 weeks, they've gotten back enough onto the radar that they're being calculated again. And that's how you see things like X Currency, XC showing up, which I think is pretty cool.
yeah, well, XC was homeless for a while until I actually asked them to get it listed on NovaExchange and paid because I had a
nice.
bag, and I figured, well, there's still cool stuff
nice.
going on with this, so I'm gonna.
somebody should
Pony
trade
up.
it. And another interesting thing is between a certain period here, we're talking about coins that are in about the 3 million market cap range. We can drop down to the 1 million market cap range within about, 10 coins from that point of coins that have been added onto the market cap. I think that's significant. There's
They're dropping off fast. Crave coin is in this is in that range.
Crave's making a comeback somehow.
One fun one in this range is RiptoBucks. This is at coin rank number 69 here with almost exactly 1 million market cap. This coin's cool because it's one of the first coins that used a dual Waves and Ethereum blockchain and has like a conversion contract that maintains the supply to be 1-to-1 across both chains. It's some cool stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that. I saw it in my Waves wallet, but I was like, I wasn't sure what was up with that.
Yep,
That's
they have-
very
so
cool.
yeah, if you have it in your Waves, you're eligible for the airdrops. But you can essentially go back and forth between those tokens on Ethereum and Waves chains, which is kind of becoming a more popular thing and is one of the first real working examples of interoperability that we've seen, which is a kind of a big upcoming market, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that
that's
for sure.
about 1 million market cap. Part of the comparison or perspective to keep in mind there that I was getting at is that last time we were at a 10-week interval, the average was 500,000.
Right.
So that's a coin that's about at double of what we were seeing as an average 10 weeks ago for a market cap of a new coin.
Yep.
And we drop down from there to that level pretty quickly. We get to a coin like
Green coin?
Green coin, it says, are pro currency.
Weird. Coins
Not,
you've never
not
heard
familiar with those.
of.
Exactly.
Condensate. You might have heard of condensate. That's been out there.
Yeah, condensate's one of the best proof of work coins. One of the well, I mean, there were so few, but it was probably one of the best proof of work coins launched recently. Like miners made money, stakers are making money. It's trading at a few exchanges. It's pretty cool. The dev is not a doof. He's a
human.
dude. Like,
Yeah, condensate is under the
He's a
rain
human.
ticker, and that one came out a little bit more on the legit side than a lot of them. At this point, they've got a lot of good graphics going, which is always important to the boys over here.
Oh, we love those graphics.
And they've
If you can
got
hook me up with some graphics and some team photos.
did they pay so
yeah,
much?
but more importantly, they've got some legitimate mining statistics that have been going on since the beginning, and there's been actually a handful of coins within this category as we get within these lower market caps that actually there's been some good coins that came out within the last 10 weeks.
Funny here, 83, we got Denarius, the Carson Clock joint. So, tale of two shitcoin developers. The Stuhlman drops Z-Dash, which is eventually swapped into Hush, and does quite well with that whole effort. Carson Clock is another old school shitcoin developer who hasn't been able to get the same success with his coins, but I feel like he's still sticking too close to the old formula. You know,
He might be, but that, he did get lots of attention. He tried TurboCoin. I think that was what he was going to stick with until he got some kind of cease and desist or stop using our IP or something from the actual Tor Foundation. So Denarius, I mean, they're Romans. Their dynasty ended a couple thousand years ago, so they can't go after him.
They have no legal basis to sue.
They've lost those copyrights.
This is the opposite of Kanye West.
Around the era of the Goths. Okay, so Denarius is on there. Waves Go is chilling at number 84. It's funny, once you get into the lowered list, it starts to look more like what coins used to look like. Just kind of regular coins links. Just kind of a mining coin. But it goes to show that as far as valuations right now, the stuff that we were used to in 2014 is trading well below what the new wave Ethereum tokens and stuff are trading at.
Right.
Yeah, ICOs have really displaced everything. But I got to figure that, like, if there's any kind of new investors and new money, if there's any kind of shaky foundation or sustained, and I guess sustained in this case means more than one day of a bear market, double-digit percentage losses, I feel like people are going to sell off a lot of this and try and find other opportunities in these lower market cap kind of shit coins that we cut our teeth on back in the day.
Oh man, it's totally true. It's funny, just looking back at this list, if we take a walk down memory lane or whatever, last time we did a recap, the median value of one of these new coin market cap editions was about 32,000. If you go back another 10 weeks, it was $2,500. Right, that was what it actually was. This cycle, it's $1,075,000.
A lot of the coins actually are not that different.
No, they aren't. They're shit tokens on a different, under a different guise. It's incredible. It's awesome. I mean, the market is what it is. There's definitely a lot more good projects going around today than there were back then too. So I'm not, it's easy to be elitist.
Do you feel like
the
they're
old coins.
standing out though? Like,
totally.
Are the actual projects standing out in this list as much as the crap projects?
You go back to what was coming out in 2015, there was nothing even close to like Numerai, for instance, right? Like, Numerai isn't even a good investment so far. It has just mostly gone down, but in terms of creating what it's actually doing, it's way more interesting than what we had back then.
Oh, it's super interesting. Yeah, all this stuff is, I mean, a lot of the ETH ICOs, they're, like you guys said, they're just like 2014, 2015 shit coins with what we're starting off with a ton of money premise. But you're right, like some of it is there's definitely more interesting specific use projects now that sort of the maximalism of Bitcoin has been pushed off into a corner where they can just yell at each other, and people are actually starting to accept, okay, yeah, there can be an application use for a blockchain, and that isn't Bitcoin, and that can run on its own thing. It doesn't require the most secure blockchain in the world if it's just going to be doing these certain things in these certain ways. So AppCoin is alive and well, and I think that's what's reflected in the values of these potential categories that each of these new projects that are doing something cool for the first time are sort of describing with what they're doing.
I
in the
think
white
that's
paper.
a really awesome analysis, actually, and it brings to rise another contrast from the last time that coins got like this in 2013. At the time, alts had an unprecedented surge in value, but the idea that one of them might eventually surpass Bitcoin was a bit of a joke, right? It was kind of an inside joke that we were all trading these coins and people were buying them as though they might overtake Bitcoin, but everybody knew they wouldn't. Especially with Doge is a hilarious classic example of that, right? Coming into today, in the last 10 weeks, that notion has been it's gone. The idea that a coin might overtake Bitcoin is completely believable now. Nobody would even blink at the thought, really, except for, like you said, some of the maximalists. But at this point, it's been proven that it's entirely possible for another project to.
I mean, the value of
surpass
Bitcoin
it.
would be far below some other coin, and they would still be very adamant about Bitcoin being
the best,
valued more.
The one true blockchain.
Anybody that's like that would be in that position.
the one true.
Unfortunately.
And I think what it is too is I've really come to see. I sort of had the idea when I started and I saw altcoins. I thought, they can't just be Bitcoin. There's too many cool ideas out there, even if like 90% of these are scams. Like there's that still makes enough cool ideas for it to matter. And I keep thinking that because the basis of all of this stuff is open source and it's easy to clone and change and create your own blockchain, if any of those good ideas get enough support, then they can exist as their own sovereign chain for their own sovereign use case. And the network that people talk about, or that maximalists talk about when they talk about, Bitcoin's got the biggest network effect, so everything else is going to die. The network isn't Bitcoin's blockchain. The network is the marketplace and the network of open source code repositories where anybody can create a new blockchain and all of them are intertradable. So it's all blockchains together and the marketplaces that let you exchange one for the other based on the perceived current or future value. And then with interoperability of all blockchains coming to the fore, that line's going to be even more blurred, and the network is
right. No, I absolutely know what you're talking about, and I think that
has a blockchain.
One project that I think you're interested in, not so fast, that's pushing that forward is Block, because as we start getting these chains to be more interoperable, we'll be able to accomplish those goals without a lot more friction, essentially.
Yeah. No, it's no secret that I've shilled that coin to Kingdom coming back again, but it's
but it is
I
working
really
on
think
that specific goal. I mean, that it wasn't just a random shill necessarily.
Oh, yeah. No, it's because I love the idea, like the future looking of what they're trying to do. I mean, one of the biggest proponents of it is obviously their community manager, Syndicist, and in a Reddit thread, he came up with some ideas just on the top of his head of what it could do. So like you can send any transaction of any coin through a Zcash mixer through using the BlockNet service and pay like a tiny amount of block and have your coins completely anonymized and washed, if you will. You can have like he had a bunch of other uses. I could go look back and find it, but just there's so many ways that get around high periods of Bitcoin fees. If the Bitcoin network's getting scammed, send all your Bitcoin transactions that are small enough to have security not matter that much on the Litecoin chain or on the Dogecoin chain for a tiny bit of BlockNet and a tiny bit of whatever. So that type of thing, we're just interpreting the politicizing and damage and attacks and stuff as damage and using the rest of the network and the interoperability to route around it by taking a little bit of extra time, locking the transactions on the check time verify protocol that the BlockNet uses and letting one chain trade to another and confirm on both chains. And then you're good. You're good to go. Like you don't have to worry about all this stuff. You can just get around it by using another chain.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And what's crazy is that a lot of this stuff is actually starting to come to fruition in ways that might have seemed absurd a few years ago. And a lot of it's actually starting to be implemented, which is crazy.
Which is great. Yeah, everybody thought, blockchains are solution looking for a problem or a hammer looking for a nail. But like, just because it's a revolutionary tool, like, I'm sure the cavemen found fire and like burned themselves a bunch and then started cooking food and like warming themselves and stuff. It's a little like a discovery rather than an
absolutely.
invention. And so you figure out how to harness it and use it to the best of
One thing,
your ability.
I got to call out here, that we got 137 or something coins added from CoinMarketCap in the last 11 weeks. The lowest market cap coin is Mike the Mug.
What
Mike
is that,
the
though?
Mug.
Yeah.
The market cap is $109. It's a burst asset.
What?
Somehow it's funny
Oh,
when
it's
you
a
go to their
burst now.
webpage, the top of their thing says "as seen on CoinMarketCap."
It's true. We've seen it. That's where we
It's
saw it.
like, okay, yeah, that's true.
It's true.
They're frantically adding as discussed on blockchain.
Exactly.
Dynamics for
Yeah.
that too.
You as
Double
heard on
the size
Blockchain
of-
Dynamics.
Yeah, they're gonna get
Mike
the they're gonna
Mug.
get
You
the
can add that
blockchain.
up there.
They're gonna get the blockchain dynamics bump for sure.
We love that stuff, though.
I give them a thumbs up so they can say as
But
endorsed
that
by
shows you
blockchain
maybe
dynamics.
part of the resilience of the entire network that Not So Fast might have been getting at there as well. Like, if you have chains and assets going down to that small of a size, like, I know we've had this discussion before, but it ends up being like that seven-headed Hydra that just keeps growing its head back.
Can't defeat it.
So,
Yeah, long story short,
Yep.
alts this last 10 weeks are crazier than they've ever been. Average market caps are up 50x. Median market caps are up about 30x. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. We're going to do some a quick mention of some fun news items from the last 10 weeks.
yeah, just a little bit of when we look back through the shows, what was happening.
What happened? What went
One
down?
thing that we thought was worth mentioning was that byte ball distributions have been happening this whole 10 weeks.
It's true. You know,
And-
it's funny. A lot of this stuff, like, it seems like it's really unimportant at the time, and the stuff that seems important is just like people arguing about scaling and stuff. But when we were looking back through the news, the stuff that stuck out as important was different. Stuff like this byte ball airdrops have been happening this whole time, and it's like it's obvious that I should have been getting these byte ball airdrops.
I just got the first one. Like, I got in so late. I got the first one last night on the full moon, and it was super rad. I mean, you just send all your, whatever Bitcoin you can muster together into one address and send a tiny amount to confirm that you own the address to the byte balls in wallet chat system. And it's like talking to a bot. It's deceptively easy to onboard new users to that type of thing. And you get a bunch of gigabyte, or they call them
GBs or
yeah,
whatever.
Gbytes,
I don't know.
gigabytes
for
Yeah,
the full amount.
I don't know.
GBs.
I don't know what they are. I always think gigabytes as well. I'm right there with you.
It's just, the space is so big, and with new people in the scene all the time, they're always like, they're asking you questions. What do you think of this coin? What do you think of this coin? If you're starting from a small basis, airdrops are the easiest way to get an ROI because they're going to be significant at a lower balance usually. And so for something like Byteball, it's just it's an obvious play for people that are trying to build up capital in the game right now.
Yep. So
Yep.
that's been going on, and I think it's still going to be going. Excuse me. I think it's still going to be going on for a little while. So that was like within week 1 to 5 of the last 10-week cycle, around the middle of there somewhere, show 65-ish. That was like around the 28th of
May.
Around the 28th
Mhm.
of May, Bitcoin just shot past $2,000.
Blew it away.
And that was something that I don't think a lot of people that were trading Bitcoin at the time were expecting.
I mean, if you would have checked on Twitter, everyone thought it was going straight to 5,000.
They undershot
People
it.
still do that.
But yeah, it blew past 2,000. The run from 2,000 to 2,800 was incredible because it happened. It was just day after day. There was no major retrace. There was no correction. It just fired straight up, and that was when we had kind of the first big test where it collapsed back down to 2,000 or whatever. And then by that point, our perspective was already so warped that 2,000 seemed like a low price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were screwed up. But literally by 528, we were so confused by it having shot up above 2,000 that we were already worried about it dropping below that. That was what I remember.
Yep, exactly. I was like, how can I protect my portfolio?
Yep. So move forward a little bit. Somewhere between those 5 weeks, basic attention token happened, which we had been waiting for quite a while. That sold out in about 20 seconds. The fees on the Ethereum network got as high as $6,000 per transaction just to ensure their entry into that network.
Just like a line cutting system where you can pay the bouncer unlimited amounts of money, as much as you have, and he'll just keep letting people jump and jump and jump ahead.
It really
was
exposed
insane.
the flaws, I think, of the traditional Ethereum ICO model.
So I'm waiting for somebody to develop this perfect, what you need to do, guys, you super smart folks out there, you make a contract, and what it can do is it can perform ICOs, but in a very intelligent way and on a very fair basis.
The smarter ICO. People liked the way that Civic ICO went. Did anybody complain about that? I hadn't heard anybody complaining about it. It seems like maybe people are working on it.
Yep, I'm sure there are. I mean, it's not a novel idea.
Oh yeah.
All right, flash forward. Dennis Rodman calls the top of Bitcoin. No, I'm being a little bit facetious, but you might remember Dennis Rodman showing up in that Potcoin T-shirt. That was on the 13th last month, and the actual top was on the 11th. So
that was it, though.
Just think about that for a second.
That marked the top.
Yeah, and he didn't just show up like in front of press cameras. He went to North Korea to hang out in a Potcoin
Yeah, just
T-shirt
think about
and
the
hat.
balls and all the money and the shit that goes into that. Keep in mind it.
Yep, and that was some of the many highlights from the last 11 weeks. It's just been too crazy to even think about, but it's hard to believe. Hard to believe where we've come.
But you know what? Every week is a new week, and this week was like every other and none other. So let's move on to those
and
stats.
so many others. That's it. That's our totally smooth transition into what happened this week. Because this is a blockchain dynamics show, we got to tell you what happened this week. And the best way to start that off is with another one of those markets reports. You're thinking to yourself, all right, 10 weeks markets, yeah, they've been pretty freaking good.
That was a really bullish report.
But who gives a shit about 10 weeks ago?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
This is
We're past
crypto.
that
I didn't
now.
even have any
We are in
Bitcoin
new
10 weeks
territory.
ago.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you. I need to know what happened today. Well, I don't have that either. I have the last week. So here's a funny story. Bitcoin is up $67 this week.
That's as flat as it can get for me still.
It's true. 2.7
Same
change.
here,
That
yeah.
ain't nothing. Ethereum, our old pal Ethereum, not looking so hot. Once again, down 14%. That's chasing another huge loss from the week prior.
I don't like it. But, I mean,
I bought a bit today.
Oh,
I
he's
bought a
catching-
tiny bit
catching the
today.
knife, huh?
it's up so much, though, over the year. Like, we
Yeah,
just
that's
look at those
crazy.
numbers, too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little sad to see Ethereum coming down, but again, 243. It's hard to think that's low. Once again, we joked about it being 50 10 weeks ago. I really would love to know what the point is where people truly start panicking on Ethereum. We haven't hit it yet, which makes me think that it probably has a little more, room to go. But I'm really curious to see what that market looks like when people really start sweating about Ethereum. But for now, it's chilling at 243, and
Well, I mean,
down
to be
quite
fair,
a bit.
Zcash hasn't got as low as you were hoping yet either, Brando.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get my .01 Zcash. I had a dream, man. A man can have a dream.
Oh, I share that dream. That would be amazing.
So, yep, Ethereum down 14%. If you go look at the top 100 coins, we got 80 of them down versus US dollar, 86 down versus Bitcoin. Ouch. Looks like we lost about 10% of our value overall in the altcoin world.
I feel like that's literally just ICOs entering the market and losing half their
And deflating.
value. Yeah,
That's not unreasonable. But
it's serious.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I did feel some pain though with like my spread. A lot of stuff did go down on red days. It would go down about 15% on average, I'd say, and then we didn't have a red period that lasted more than 24 hours, and stuff would recover like pretty much all the way.
That's true, but that slow and steady decline in a way worries me more than the crash. Like, I can live with the crash because I know it's going to end.
Oh yeah.
It's the slow decline that really wears you down.
Yeah, when you don't know when it's going to end, and it's just every day is like, oh shit, -2, -3, death by
Is today going to be
daily
10% up or 15% down?
Yeah, and you've got that compounding dilemma. We've been enjoying alts going up with Bitcoin for the past 10 weeks. Well, that means that if alts can go down with Bitcoin too, so if your alts are down 20% and Bitcoin's down 20%, that's just a compounding loss that can really devastate your portfolio.
Oh yeah, that positive correlation now really hurts on the way down for sure.
Looking once again at the numbers this week, median change -13% versus US dollar. That's pretty rough. Average change about -10%, so pretty similar on those numbers. Kind of everybody down a little bit.
As far as specific gainers goes, we got Veritasium
Okay.
up 81%, Verge up 26%, Litecoin manages to go up 22%, Edgeless up 19%, and Dash up 16%.
Dash coming back, nice. Edgeless looking strong. Yep. Litecoin, really surprisingly high market caps in these gainers list, man. A Verge and Veritasium, of course, would represent the lower market caps, but Litecoin, Edgeless, Dash, it's pretty surprising showings.
And Verge being at 57, like that's no joke. Like that's of the proof of work coins, of the non like Ethereum ICOs in the top 70 or 100. Like there's got to be only about like 30 proof of work coins in front of yeah, Verge.
That's
right
actually
now
true.
The top
that's
coins,
a great observation.
Right?
Verge is one of the premier proof of work, proof of stake coins ever created right now. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine.
Back to reality here. Losers. Coins that lost value this week. Funfair down 48%. We got Mysterium down 41%. Numeraire down 40%. Scenario down 38%. And Agoras down 37%.
Nice.
So, like you said, man, new ICOs getting listed and losing value is almost all of those.
We've been used to that, though. Right? Like, that's not a new thing.
No.
If anything, the fact that the ICOs were going up was a really unusual trend, and that was kind of exciting for a second, but I wasn't sold on it.
I feel you.
Yeah, we saw that as far back ago as like Archcoin, when everything traded below ICO for several sustained months after everybody finally bought in. 2014, 2015 yes. ICOs.
Right. I'm pretty sure Brandon's best move with Archcoin was simply selling it on the second day of trading.
First day. I bought Archcoin ICO. I got it in my wallet and I sold it immediately.
It's like,
but that wasn't the best move.
Oh,
it did
awesome.
actually.
It did actually go up from there.
But I would have had to wait for it, and I'm not very patient. So yeah, some coins lost some value, of course. Looking at what got dropped from the top 100 list this week, kicked out of the top 100, we got Burst, Mysterium, Vertcoin, Agoras tokens, Token Card, Earthcoin, Co-Found It, Navcoin, Gridcoin, and WeTrust, all booted out of the top 100.
Bam!
Wow.
And that's because they had to make way for a bunch of hot, fresh Ethereum ICOs.
Yeah, they needed to make way for EOS, 10X, Decent, Soarcoin, Metal, Salus moving in, Dubai Coin, Skycoin, eDinar Coin, eDinar Coin, and then SIB Coin.
So
now Dubai Coin is an imposter there because they did a swap, and 90% of the old DBIC ticker coins got swapped to the DBIX token and burned, and the remaining 10% were on Yobit, and Dubai Coin pumped to like 65,000 Satoshi, the remaining supply. So yeah, it's a classic move, and I wished I had some still. I actually even dug up my old computer to get my Dubai Coin wallet to see if there was any dust left in there that I could dump, but alas, there was not.
Such a hilarious move. Do a swap and then pump the old chain on Yobit. It's so funny to see. I don't even think
it's the chain. I literally think it's Yobit. Still.
You're not pumping a blockchain at that point because the chain is dead. You're pumping a Yobit database balance.
Yeah. That's what they are, though. That's some of the stuff. CoinMarketCap still tracks these non-blockchain Yobit
Well, it's interesting too
databases.
because you'll actually find some coins that they don't track that you might expect them to as well. I've ran into that more than once.
Crazy.
So next we're going to take a little bit of a look at the Ethereum index.
What is happening with Ethereum sub tokens? We got a big old list of Ethereum tokens that we're tracking these
They're
days.
assets now, Brandon.
Assets is what we're calling
Yes,
them?
these are
Crypto
these
assets.
are assets.
Crypto assets. Tokens are out. Assets are in.
Well, maybe Ethereum's a token, but the ones on the sub tokens are now.
No,
assets.
Ethereum is a coin.
Ethereum's a coin. These are assets.
I guess you could say Ethereum's a token. It's its own token on the Ethereum blockchain.
Right.
All right. Okay, I'll buy it.
I'm just trying to help.
I feel you. I'm with you. Okay. So we got an Ethereum index. This is our homebrewed index of Ethereum sub tokens. We're up to 38 of these Ethereum tokens that we're tracking. So to take a look at how they have performed this week, as you can guess, not well.
No, not too hot.
We got 31 down versus US dollar. We got 32 down versus Bitcoin. And once again, you really hit the nail on the head when you talk about these things ICO at a low price. And then they come onto the market with a huge price and then they drop, right?
Right.
And so whenever you look at this index, it looks like it's taken a huge hit, but it's kind of weird because the actual value of the index keeps increasing in some ways. But
Well, none of these can be proof of work tokens by nature, right?
no, I don't believe so.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have a
So
component
it's a
for
huge
that.
difference to me.
So how did they do this week? They're down quite a lot. They lost about 15% versus US dollar. The median loss of about 11% and an average change of about minus 10%. So really, honestly, what this points to is really consistent across the board losses for most of these Ethereum tokens. One of the worst weeks we've seen for them, but also one of the worst weeks we've seen for alts in general, really, in the last little bit.
But hey, you know what? Even in the midst of that, some of them go up.
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, BitPark up 25%, Edgeless up 19%, Ethereum Movie Venture up 9%, and Swarm City up 8%.
Huh.
Some little tiny gains there. And then the losers, Numeraire minus 40, Minerium minus 39, Quantum Resistant Ledger minus 32, Token Card minus 30. One thing we didn't have on this list was EOS. We have added it, so it will be incorporated in future calculations.
Yeah, it would just be up 100% right now.
It would be. But then, we all know what's going to happen next week, right? Just like
We'll get to take a better look at it.
I think
We'll take
we
a
have
better picture at it
yeah,
next
We
week.
have a picture.
Where it's actually at. Wow.
Boom. What a week.
That was a really long report. That's a lot of information.
We got into it. Thanks, everyone, for sticking with us through that. I mean, it was a big 10 weeks.
It
We had
was.
a lot to cover.
Yeah, and I got to say, your proprietary way of scooping the data and presenting it this way, like it's for people listening, like this is the type of thing I've seen in really, really expensive subscription. Like I'm talking hundreds of dollars a month, proprietary newsletters in traditional markets with like this deep analysis. So what you guys do is super valuable, and it's unprecedented in the
Thanks,
crypto
man.
space. I would really hope that people start listening to this, and if you do ever end up making an ICO where people pay BCD tokens to get your newsletter, you might do very well.
They're going to have to work harder than that.
No, actually, so here I had a dream earlier today where what we could do is we could make an Ethereum contract where you could send a little bit of some token to a contract with some data, and it could generate some sort of output for you. But
pay per report.
beyond that, I honestly I'd prefer to just provide it for free once we manage to make a decent interface for it.
Oh,
We'll see how it goes.
Johnny Appleseed over here.
Yeah.
Sweet, yeah. So that's a pretty fantastic roundup of the markets. I think we should just tie it up there, and let's jump right into a little something we call the dot giveaway.
What?
You've stuck with us. You are good listeners. They deserve some dots, man.
Yeah, you know what? We super appreciate everybody listening. This actually is our most live listeners ever, so shout out to y'all. And
Well, the question's pretty hard, so good luck.
You're welcome to attempt to win these 20,000 dot. basically, the way that it works is after I ask the question, you'll send me a direct message to @ChainDynamics with your answer. The first person to send me the correct answer will win the dot. The question is, which Blockchain Dynamics episode was the first to be sponsored by Cryptopia? What is the number or date of the episode that we first mentioned Cryptopia, the exchange? The first person to send me that answer via Twitter @ChainDynamics gets 20,000 dot. We'll try to let you know by the end of the show whether somebody fulfilled that or not.
And if nobody gets it, what's going to happen is that we will roll that jackpot into next week. It'll be an even bigger jackpot.
Yep.
It's going to be crazy. Once again, the question,
Go ahead.
which Blockchain Dynamics episode was the first to be sponsored by Cryptopia? Tweet that to @ChainDynamics.
And a little hint is you just go back through the archives and start at episode 1 and listen to
That's
the
exactly.
entire thing.
That was the only
And
way I
it
thought
wasn't
it.
that
I
episode.
actually even put the question at this. We think it out. Like the question is at this point in the show, so that people didn't have to skip the 10-week review in order to stop this currently and go listen to those.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to listen to the rest of the show now. Just trying to get the jackpot. All right, so we're gonna drop into the news here. We're now gonna look at this week's news. I wanted to try and look up what the Tezos ICO had raised, and I can't find it offhand. No. I'm curious.
I might do a
What
bit of
is
Googling
Tezos
to see.
at right now? That's the question.
Man, somebody already got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Nah.
Oh, kudos to you.
Whoa.
Good Twitter, sir.
Yeah, that's gonna go out to Christoph.
Christoph, 20,000 dots, man. That's like a payday.
I'll contact you after the show for the transaction.
The answer was 19. Show 19.
Yeah,
was
episode
our
19.
first,
And the fun part about that answer is, do you know what? That's exactly 1 year ago to the day. That was our first
Cryptopia
episode.
Oh, right on.
It was great, man. It's been a great journey for us. And Cryptopia's gained a lot since then, too. It's been fun.
Was there an auspicious beginning to that? Like, did Hex talk to you and come to you in
the
a
beginning-
dream and
so
say,
He was a guest on the
I
show
agree.
Hex
first.
Hex was actually a guest.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember
You know,
listening.
you were a big part of our journey as well. Not so fast. So, but beyond that, Hex contacted us and he was on the show. And then, after he had been on the show, a few weeks later, they decided that they wanted to sponsor us, and we've been basically giving away DOT for them ever since.
It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yep, that was the answer to that question. What are we doing now here? Oh, we're back in the news. We were trying to figure out how much Tezos raised.
Yeah, we're listening for...
All right, they're at 54,881 Bitcoin right now. They're at 315,000 ETH. So let's see. Let's just see what the 54,881 Bitcoin is worth. 54th. If you don't know how to use this website, Preve, www.preve.com. That's a free promo right there. To convert to Bitcoin and USD, it's really convenient. That's 138 million. They slowed down. Only 138. I thought they'd be a little higher by now.
That's the total for both amounts?
That's just the Bitcoin. That's just the Bitcoin.
Bitcoin and-
So to get the ETH, we'll need to multiply
Oh,
by the
geez.
ETH price. What's ETH at? It's at like 243. So 135 million in Bitcoin and 76.5 million in Ethereum.
So they're well over 200
Well over 200
million
million.
raised.
That's just
My.
that's a little something I like to call a sane valuation. You know, just a reasonable value.
Yeah, good thing they don't have a cap, so we can see it go a little
Yeah,
higher
the fun
than
thing.
this.
The important thing is that it needs to be even more. So yeah, that's going to be the biggest ICO of all time. It's Tezos. I think it's a cool idea. It's crazy to me that people have put $200 million into it, but you never know.
You kind of wish it was lower so that you could get in on a different basis. Essentially,
Is
that your dream?
Exactly. I want to make money, and I want it to be easy. I don't want any ambiguity.
I honestly think your time will come, but I think it's going to be after the cap of the ICO closure happens, and then there's true price
I mean, I do love the
discovery.
idea of Tezos. It's a kind of high level blockchainy type stuff, which is that's what I like
so do
in,
I, yeah.
in ICOs, and it's we trash talked the traditional Ethereum ICO model earlier, where they have the limited number of coins, and then it's like a mad rush to spam the blockchain to get them. This is the opposite of that, where it's like totally open-ended, but then it has the problem of just way too many people can buy into it, and the price gets crazy.
Now, here's a question. Do you think in like the last few hours there will be an even bigger like FOMO pump of like additional investment, like it gains another 20% in the last hour or something?
You know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it just rolls past the finish line.
Yeah, just kind of...
Which...
Yeah. This is too much.
Exactly.
This is too much.
Somebody's like, oh, I need to do a quick last minute 100 million into this thing. You'd have to have so much money.
I always wanted 50% of this chain.
Yeah, exactly. Usually that happens when like on a Yobit ICO or something, like, or an old school ICO where it would be like a Craig's coin or something.
Yeah, though I have heard, and this is like it's kind of super hearsay, but I have heard that like there are still financial entities out there that are very, very interested in blockchain related stuff, but they play at numbers so large they don't really want to get in until the whole space is worth like $1 trillion, and then they'll start investing. I'm talking about like UAE oil based interests that are sitting on just so much money. So it may be, this is the kind of thing that I think might trigger something like that. Like, oh, this project is starting from a $250 million basis. Like, yeah, and we can get in and own half. It costs, now we know that it's almost over. It's going to cost us $250 million to own half of this project. Okay, we're in. Our involvement will make it worth that, and we're in. So that something like that might still happen, just based on the rumors that I hear floating around deep in conversations with people that probably shouldn't be talking to me or anybody else about this type of thing.
The secret world of Tezos. Well, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Just the length that it's come so far. Again, that's a pretty hilarious thing to predict, because it would be such a fun kind of translation of the old markets to the new markets. But I'll be surprised if Tezos can come up with another 100 million at the last minute. That would blow my mind. But
it would be nuts. And I always compare this stuff to Google's IPO in like 2003, raising just over $1 million.
That's it?
That's all they raised, and it was a big deal.
That is shocking for sure. I mean, coming from our perspective, that's bizarre.
That's like I've got some denarius
like
to
even
sell you at that price. All right, back to the news here. That was Tezos ICO. There were some updates on this Coinbase stuff. IRS has been suing Coinbase. I didn't realize this ask from the IRS was broad beyond what I had ever realized.
The first request was like Game of Thrones style.
Yeah, the request wanted all of the trading data for everybody on Coinbase, including their passwords and account credentials.
Yeah, like why even let's give us the credentials. We'll log in and find everybody's history.
I'll check it out for you. I'll look it up.
So,
oh my God.
It's all been a process of scaling them back in their request since then, apparently, as far as legality goes. And at this point, they've made a lot of steps back.
Some concessions.
Yeah.
So basically Coinbase's users are the main people fighting this, and they filed lawsuits against the IRS. And so they're no longer going to seek these accounts and passwords, at least. Thank God. There's still a lot of info up in the air, and nobody knows how that one's actually going to shake out. In other Coinbase news, they also added 1 million users in June, which is insane. That's like ridiculous. I mean, I used to wonder, like in the 2014 days, I would kind of muse to myself about like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm trading Penguin Coin. How many people are actually trading Penguin Coin? Like, what is the number of humans?
Is it 4 or is it 4,000?
Yeah, exactly. Interacting with the Penguin Coin market. Because sometimes it feels like it's just me.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like we talk to each other like on Twitter or something, and then we're really just dumping on each other in the marketplace. That's what 2015 felt like. It's like, oh, you want this bag? And I'm sure like we've all traded with each other before at some point, but now it feels like a real marketplace. It's not just like, kind of people shaking hands in a dark room.
So 1,000, or excuse me, 1 million people. And I think a lot of people within that last 10-week period have had friends and relatives walk up to them and say things about Bitcoin that they weren't expecting.
I'm hearing about it at work. It's all pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
So, yep, that's Coinbase blowing up. Alphabay disappears. That's the next item of news here.
Yep,
Alphabay.
That's Zcash related.
They ran off with the Zcash.
Yep. Well, no, they didn't run off with
The Zcash ran off with Alphabay.
The hopes and the dreams ran off together.
Oh, the price of Zcash disappeared with Alphabay. Is that the metaphor here?
Basically. I don't know.
Alphabay is a darknet market, I guess. Apparently their service is offline. They have absconded, and nobody knows how to get their money.
There is some people purporting to speak for Alphabay saying that I don't really know if they're saying anything of substance, but they're saying, yeah, we're coming back shortly. So I'm not sure what the deal was, but obviously it's just another, I mean, one of the counterparty risks you take when messing around with dark markets.
This is not a surprising situation. In other dark market news, the more charges have been brought against the MintPal scammer Ryan Kennedy.
And that's his real name, right?
Alex Green was the fake name.
Yeah.
Ryan Kennedy is the real name. It's funny, this guy.
I mean, I don't mean to be super dark, but the underline of this article is definitely more so that he's in jail for raping somebody than anything money related, right?
Yeah, he's already in jail for rape charge, essentially. So yeah, really not a good guy. He also orchestrated a huge scam with this Moolah.io kind of cryptocurrency exchange service, and then MintPal. Just a ton of.
He's just not nice in any way. He's not nice to crypto, not nice to the ladies.
Apparently none of the charges for any of the crypto stuff has ever affected him directly.
Right. This is the first thing that's ever been brought against him for his numerous cryptocurrency financial crimes. But these charges are being brought up, so yeah, screw him. It's nice to see, at least. You know, most of the time you hear about these people getting charges against them, it's like the worst people in the space. And I think that's a good thing, you know.
Well,
yeah, I'll agree with that.
So, yep, the MintPal guy got a bunch of fraud and various charges levied against him. Last thing in the news this week, the Korean Bitcoin exchange BitHum. They announced that they were hacked.
Yeah. That seemed relevant, even though none of us trade there.
A lot of really old school news this week. Alphabay disappears. Some scammer gets a bunch of charges brought against them.
Yeah.
And an exchange gets hacked. We could have done this show from We could have done this show from 2014, and it would have been the same news. This hack wasn't so bad though. Everybody was really scared at first because the numbers they announced were like hundreds of billions of Korean won were lost, but apparently
they just said billions lost in the articles. They were really sensationalizing it. And then you realize the won exchange rate is like $86. 100 million won or something.
So the actual amount lost was like in the five figures or something. But
I did enjoy that. That's so exceptional, just exceptional, you know.
Yeah. Oh, the media trolled me for sure on that. I was like, what?
In the nature of the hack, there it wasn't that their Bitcoin, their altcoin wallets weren't compromised. It was a leak of credentials, and people used the credentials to initiate withdrawals. Was the nature of the issue there. So yep, that was a hack on the BitHum exchange, but once again, counterparty risk, all that stuff, it's real.
It's always been real.
It's so real.
It's not going to stop. That's the thing. As soon as people get complacent, that's when they're at the highest risk of those types of mistakes, like kind of getting more
Totally
widespread.
agree with you.
So just remember, you're in charge of your currencies.
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
That's going to do it for the news this week. Always a fun week in the news. Like we said, really kind of an old school week for news. Next, we're going to jump into this week's new coins.
This week's new coins.
New coins. Because you got to have new coins. They keep coming. They don't stop.
We're kind of going to change it up a little bit, probably, maybe at least for this week and maybe into the future. Essentially, naming off the ICOs isn't working out so well right now. So we're going to kind of try to just talk about coins that are piquing our interest a little bit or are suggested to us rather than coins just in a list.
We're going to the Bitcoin Talk announcement indicator has kind of been deteriorated to the point that it's not useful anymore. So we're just going to...
Yeah, the quality is just sunk so low. Now that you can like propose doing an ICO, there is no description of like having to put up a coin or a source or a premise that gets miners interested. Now, the miners are already interested in mining Ethereum, and you're just making a token and trying to get people interested. So it's now fully shit posting, I would say. There doesn't have to be any substance behind it. So I agree with what you
So
guys
yeah,
are
if you want to
doing.
hear about an ICO, come to our Cryptopia thread and post a suggestion there. Once again, shout out to this guy, Crypto Billionaire, who gives us a ton of good suggestions. Hop in if you want to hear us talk about a coin. All you have to do is suggest it. We'll almost certainly will talk about it. You can also check out our website, blockchaindynamics.net. Hit us up there with suggestions too. But anyway, so this week we are not going to actually talk about any ICOs just because of the recap. But next week we will be back and we're going to talk about a couple of suggestions. The coins are Mothership and Gigawatt.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at those.
We will check those out
next week.
Now, here's what's going down this week. We're going to take a look at the new proof of work and proof of stake coins, like we always do.
Yeah. That's where we started.
They're funny. They're just fun. They're funny. They're just fun. Here's what we got. We're going to start it off new proof of work, proof of stake coins.
This is the Fire Peacock coin.
Fire Peacock.
This is clearly a phoenix that's been mistranslated to me.
Totally. This is literally the word phoenix being translated as Fire Peacock. That's this whole coin.
And it's beautiful, actually. But the coin itself, you know...
It's going to be a big pre-mine shit coin, right? I haven't even looked at the post yet, but we all know what's coming here.
I mean, there's just not much going on in these coins at this point. They have the words blockchain application platform in this post, which would kind of indicate it's something more along the lines of, you know, Waves, Ethereum, Lisk than it would be to a traditional clone. But when we look closely, it seems like it actually is just a basic massive pre-mined script clone.
Generic.
This will go right to CCX,
Yeah.
I think, just with these parameters. 3939 block. So not quite 4,000 blocks worth of proof
Oh
of
my
work.
God.
And like, so that's like what, 2
Yeah, if
days
that.
basically of 64-second blocks. That's pretty
So
silly.
that was Fire Peacock coin. Next on the list here, VOLP coin. VOLP. VOLP coin.
VOLP. I spent about 5 minutes trying to figure out whether this was VOLP or VoIP, because VoIP is an actual
voice over
acronym
IP,
and VOLP is
right?
not. It's VOLP. It's VOLP.
What it is a coin using the X14 algorithm. That's an unusual algorithm. But every other thing just makes it look like a shitty pre-mine coin once again. I don't know, man. Even these pre-mine coins are becoming too much to cope with.
Yeah, they don't have much going on here. They do express a vague goal of energy wireless transmission,
Well,
which
that's
something I guess we would all like to have.
something that cannot be accomplished with a proof of work.
That was
Yeah,
Tesla
exactly.
stuff, but now with blockchain technology, they say. So, you know, because blockchaining it, all the
Hey,
things makes
decentralize
everything
it.
better, so.
It's funny. Blockchains are great, but they do not make things more efficient. It's funny. Like in many, you know, blockchain's like an inefficient database, which is really valuable in many ways, but it's funny to take a traditional idea and be like, it's more efficient with blockchain.
Another proof of work coin that came out this week might be TurboCoin.
TurboCoin. This is like the 10th TurboCoin we've seen, probably.
Probably. Aside from the usual stuff, this one sucks because there's no source.
Oh, well, then it's not really a coin as far as I'm concerned.
The website does not exist,
Yeah.
and despite all that, it's still on an exchange. That part really kind of irked me a little
Is it
bit.
Coinexchange?
Yeah.
Ah, man.
It is.
Coinexchange, man.
So where's the Block Explorer? Like, I don't really like this trend, but
I really want to like Coinexchange, but they've been putting up with some lame coins lately. All right, that was TurboCoin.
another one is LindaCoin.
Linda.
This one was really trying to push it close. They literally copied the Monero color scheme like
That's
fucking
what this
perfectly.
is. That's what this
like
is.
they basically took an L instead of an M, which is one letter off, and like just made the same colors. But
I see a post from somebody named Not So Fast in this thread.
so once again, there's no
Yeah.
source, and
What?
I don't play that, man. Just
No
don't play
source.
that game. That's what this is all based
Nope.
on.
No source.
Where do you think you
Get
are?
out of here. Boo. MagaCoin. This is the second MagaCoin to have come out.
Yep.
Uh,
This one's got source code.
All right, that's an improvement. No pre-mine,
Ooh.
they say. They say, but it's a really low effort script coin.
This is a really low effort coin, and the only difference is they changed the word block to brick in honor of Donald Trump's wall.
Oh god.
All right. Well, that is destined for success.
That's
I have
MAGA.
no doubt of that. All right. Next on the list here, we got Charna.
That's going to be our crypto note coin of the week.
There's always one. This week it's called Charna coin. Crypto note coins are like the same as Monero is the legacy there. And we never know if they have this fatal exploit that old versions of Monero have.
Yeah, what's been your opinion on that thing? Not so fast as far as our concern, whether these newer crypto note forks have that exploit. Have you?
I agree. It's really concerning, and I'm wondering why these weekly launches keep happening. And it could be just that like nobody wants to address it, or whoever's making these doesn't want to address it, and just hopes that they'll keep releasing one a week, and if one picks up, then suddenly they can do all the money printing that they want. I don't know. It's disconcerting that nobody really cares, but I guess that these coins could have like a built-in exploit. But I guess if nobody really cares about the weekly crypto note coin beyond you guys, like I don't think
All right,
anybody
so I guess
even
we're in the same
notices,
boat
right?
then.
So-
It's just like we're curious, but we aren't
Yeah.
going to look too deep into it without somebody kind of just like flopping it on us.
We're
I
just,
suppose.
we're just gonna let it happen.
Yeah.
This week it's Charna coin. And also launched this week was a coin called KangarooBits.
This one looks more like the one we see like 12 of every week. I don't know why there's only one of them exactly, but this is just your regular big pre-mine, nothing to see coin.
It's a random combination of English words, and it's a blockchain.
Yeah.
That's basically the two defining features there. Next up,
The website is great community and new targets, it says, as part of its stuff. I mined it just because I was bored.
Nice. This was your week. This was your one this week.
your weekly on board mining pick. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Not at all.
And we also had a final coin this week launched called Nekonium.
Yep, this one looks like it's sort of more of a smart contract Ethereum clone. It has a pre-mine that they say they're giving away. Really, it just seems like kind of a learning experience for the devs. So, you can take their word with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah, and the terrible thing about this one, I think, is that it rhymes with the word meconium, which is when a new you're laughing
Yeah,
because
I'm
you know what
familiar.
it is. It's like when a newborn baby is born, its first bowel movement is apparently something to behold. And it's
Oh,
called
that's funny.
meconium.
I
So
literally
that's-
didn't know what this word was at all. I was, because obviously the similarity I noticed was it's similar to Ethereum right off the bat. And I was like looking.
Yeah.
I actually searched for Nekon. Luckily, I didn't find any results. Apparently,
Any Meconium related links? Well,
any meconium, but I think it's neko because they have a little tiny cat here. So like, okay, neko is the Japanese word for cat, but what caught me was the rhyming with something, that's generally one of the more disgusting things that I can think of at
what
any
we
given
got here
moment.
is
so-
obviously the Japanese and shares.
with some a little extra gross.
All right.
All right, so that is the listings for this week.
It's the usual kind of list, man. I'm having a hard time getting excited about new coins lately. Traditional coins. It's sad, but the last one that I really, really tugged at my heartstrings was Pascal, and I haven't seen anything like that since, and it's making me a little sad.
I got to say, like,
Oh, yeah, not even bismuth.
I am
Bismuth
excited
is
about
pretty cool,
bismuth, but it's such a runaround to even try and mine this stupid thing. Like you can't.
it's difficult. Even Pascal was like, a little easier to get your head on. I mean, I didn't figure it out. I wasn't that good.
And it's okay
but,
to be
you guys
difficult,
did.
but it's just like I don't know. There's a line of
It's
I think,
so experimental, and I'm sure it's been so much work for the dev to try and get it to work the way.
But I do
should.
like bismuth. I will say that.
I do like as well. Looking back at
Yeah.
the last 10 weeks, like a little bit beyond the ones that showed up on CoinMarketCap, I actually think there's a lot of interesting projects in the last bit here that have yet to come to fruition.
Floating
And
in the
they're kind of hidden in there. I don't want to name anything right now because I would just be
Well, shoot,
wrong.
man.
But I feel
Elastic.
like, Elastic's the one that would have been there for the last probably since show 10 when we talked to Not So
Elastic was
Fast.
one of the first coins that we started this show that like one of the first ICOs we ever talked about, and now it finally just came out. Like,
Yeah, it was. It was amazing for anybody who bought in, but then there's a lot of profit-taking, sell pressure for people on the marketplace that it's not going to be able to do anything. But my theory for Elastic is their computer is going to work, and it's going to be bought for, like, the work is going to be used to create something super, super valuable, and very little is going to be paid for that. And then once that proves the concept, then it's going to do pretty well. But it might take a really long time before we figure out what kind of nail can be hit with the Elastic hammer.
It's a competitive market. The idea of coins is decentralized supercomputing payment tokens. There's a few of those.
Oh,
and
definitely.
So it's gonna come down to whoever can get the traction, actually make the idea work, I guess. But Elastic. It's like Elastic repriced itself for how the market changed. Like, yeah, the ICO price was 30 times cheaper than what it traded for, but there was a overall blanket rise in the value of altcoins in general of about, maybe not quite 30x, but pretty close to that in that time. And so it's just like it repriced into the market, and I think it's finding itself where it belongs as far as Elastic goes. But
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, as far as new coins this week, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up. After the new coins, we usually cover coin listings.
Yep. Let's see. Let's take turns doing these guys.
Bittrex, not
Okay.
so fast. What do we got?
All right, Bittrex, we got listed ADT, which is ad token. We got listed Funfair, Pay, which is 10x's coin, and MTL, which is
Nice.
MetalCoin.
Nice.
And then we're going to take a minute to kind of talk about Yobit. This is kind of spurred by a listener request, essentially, on the Cryptopia forum. He actually shouted out "you not so fast" during his comment, but essentially,
right on.
he's of the perspective that Yobit has totally jumped the shark, and we should be not even talking about their listings anymore. So for this week, I'm going to not talk about their listings, but what I would like to talk about is that idea and how we feel about that as far as where Yobit's space is now.
It's funny to think because Yobit was at one point considered to be a possible contender for like the second altcoin exchange. They were like the alternative to Poloniex when T-Rex was in its darkest days.
Yeah, they were where action was happening, even though a lot of it was not above board. They were pretty quick to list most new launches that miners, or well, I guess it would have been miners, were anxious to trade. They were the ones kind of listening and willing to list stuff willy-nilly. They did some weird stuff like listing the Lisk pre-ICO token really early without authorization or proof that they had bought enough Lisk to back up the kind of IOU that they had released for trade. But I guess it turned out that I think you can withdraw Yobit Lisk to a normal wallet, but I should be sure of that. Like to have them be legitimate, I should be sure of that.
The one thing about Yobit, Yobit is what it is, and it always has been what it is, right? So it's like,
Yep.
yeah, your coin's Yobit wallet, it might go permanently offline, and the coin will not disappear. It will continue to be traded for all of time, but that could become disconnected from the blockchain at any point. That's just like been the Yobit way for a long time, and it's never changed. And it definitely, I could see, especially if somebody was coming in new to this scene, it would be almost impossible to understand what Yobit really is, what it's like to trade on Yobit, the risks that you have to take to trade on Yobit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely extra counterparty risk where it's masquerading as a kind of an exchange where the assumptions that you make for other exchanges, that they have like a client duty to keep your coin safe and accessible to you at all times, like that's just kind of not 100% there for all assets that trade at Yobit, and they have weird stuff. But they did have ponies.
Where did
Amazing.
ponies are gone? I looked for the ponies today. Dude. I couldn't
Oh, I
find
think
any ponies.
I didn't
man.
look myself, but Brando said there's no more ponies. I believe him, dude.
I was ready. I was ready to.
Oh, I guess
I was ready to roll my
left,
twerk coin
so-
into some pony races, but I guess it's over.
Yeah, my perspective is essentially like what you guys are talking about. I feel like, so I'm perfectly cool not talking about their listings because I definitely can see what where what they're doing is not responsive at all to the community. I think especially, and this unfortunately is the way that it is, I think there was a segment of people that were kind of in with Yobit that thought that they would always be getting a certain type of response despite the fact no one else was. And when they stopped getting that response, then we're starting to really hear the kind of screams. And I do hear that sucks. That's basically all I can get at.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen just talk with people that do like to play around on Yobit. I've seen some people, I've only known through their handle or whatever that were pretty cool talking to me in other forums, and then they sort of left the scene, and then I got information that they came back under different handles and talked to other people and just sort of kept it quiet. You kind of go full dark side when you fuck with Yobit for too long, I feel like, and that's what these people seem to have done. They apparently launched another ICO and then just kind of didn't take it to where they were planning or whatever. And it's all you read the troll box and it's just all people trying to pump and dump on each other, just very desperately. It's like a marketplace in some Indiana Jones movie where he goes to a really crappy place.
It's that total dystopian market where there's people shouting at you from every direction.
That's exactly what it's like. Go into medieval times. Think of the most squalid place in Game of Thrones.
For me, as a alt market exchange, the most important thing to me is just if you're not going to have the blockchains working, then there's a huge issue. You can't have hundreds of wallets that are in maintenance.
There's no rules in crypto, and there's even fewer rules on.
That's true. There's no rules. I'm not. But you know what? My point is, we're going to skip them for now, out of nothing else but respect for that one particular listener. So we hope you appreciate it.
If you want the Yobit listings back, I guess you can let us know.
Let us know. We'll see. Maybe
we're not too worried about it.
If there's one person that doesn't want them and 300 people that want them, then we'll do them.
They've been kind of boring lately anyway. So other listings, we got NovaExchnage. NovaExchnage added RH Coin, 808 Coin, Trade Guider Coin, Shitcoin, Chancoin, Hexagon, Lynx, Light Bitcoin, Karma Classic, Madafaka Crew Coin.
That's Madafaka Crew Coin.
Madafaka Crew Coin. Women Coin, Bitcore, and Speed Cash.
Over on Livecoin, they got Peer Plays, Polybius Bank, and Monaco.
Cool. And on Coinexchange.io, they listed gold pieces. They listed Slevin. They also listed Women Coin. They listed USA Coin. They listed TAAS, Token as a Service. They listed Good Karma, Blake Star Coin, and Surge Coin.
Then over on Liqui, they added EOS, 10X, and Sphere Air.
Nice. Looking back through the listings, my eyes are probably on those Bittrex listings. Not necessarily for the tomorrow term, but
What's metal?
that one was another ICO.
Is that the old metal coin, or is that a new one?
No, that's a cool new ICO. It's actually kind of neat, but it takes me a few reads to actually retain anything when looking at an
maybe
ICO
we'll put it
these
on
days.
A review queue or something.
Oh, that'd be a great one for a second look.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, nothing that's jumping out at me that I'm going to be trading actively. But
Pure Plays we've heard about for a long time.
True.
That's going on to Livecoin there.
Good point.
Yeah. As far as some of the smaller ones, I don't know too much about links that hit Nova, but I heard that a few people are sort of seeing it as one of the better smaller projects to come out. And then gold pieces to be listed on Coinexchange is kind of weird because that's a very old one that just came out with a new weird browser game that integrates it. So they're one of those they were affiliated with Hyper, which was supposed to be an in-game usage token that also traded on regular markets, and then Hyper took over gold pieces that was sort of more RPG focused, and I thought GP was dead. It got Trexited.
Is no longer on Trex?
Yeah, long gone.
Okay.
No, it's long gone. It's on Cryptopia before still, so it's still got some life over there, and I think maybe Coinexchange saw the press release about the new game that uses it and
I wonder about the Surge Coin too. Do you think that's the old Surge Coin, or is that a new one? I literally have Surge Coin in my delisted Poloniex balance still. So I'm looking for I'm looking for a withdrawal Poloniex when you got the time.
You want to sync that? Get that one synced up. All right, that's hilarious. Yeah, so I guess that's going to do it for our listings this week. Going to close it up with the coin birthdays.
Yeah, we've got one for you this week. That's going to be StealthCoin, going up on 3 years. They came out on July 4th of 2014. At the time of recording, they were sitting at a market cap of 303 Bitcoins. That's $767,000 approximately.
That's pretty cool. They were right at that time. I had figured out how to use NiceHash properly, and StealthCoin was one of the first times where I put a bunch of more than I was comfortable with into a rental, and it paid off handsomely. And it was just StealthCoin. I have a fond.
Oh, that's
fond
awesome.
place
That's the
in my
best
heart
feeling
for.
with
It
the
was,
rental when you finally just go in on one and it works out.
That's great. That's funny that you mentioned that. StealthCoin came out right after I first got a couple of Antminers. And it was the coin that ROI'd my Antminers because I was able to get them on the pool before anybody else had hash on it. And it was
beautiful. So you probably did way better than I did even on that. And I remember mining pretty fast on that too and being all chuffed with myself. Oh, I got it.
It was one of the
quick.
Instamine coins back then where I paid off the miner with it and I was so stoked, but it ended up going, 10x from there. So I kind of...
Every coin since then has been 10x.
You
could have held any coin since then.
You should just feel good. You should just feel good about making money, but they find a way to make you regret it anyway.
Making money's the worst in crypto.
Exactly.
The regret.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so much.
That was StealthCoin. So sweet. Congrats to them. Happy 3-year birthday.
Happy 3-year.
It's worth a lot more now than it was then.
Well, that's about going to do it. What else is there to say on this show 70 before we sign off?
I'm going to say...
I don't know. There's still incredulity theme going on, and it will continue to be just until I see an ICO that doesn't raise 8 figures.
The end of the 8-figure ICO. That's the not so fast indicator right now.
Yeah.
I respect that, man. Yeah, I'm with you. It's just it's too hot. I'm ready for a break. I kind of backed off of the scene a little bit this week just to, sometimes you got to take a break and recalibrate your perspective, I guess. And I think this is definitely a good time to do that, especially if you're somebody who's really enjoyed a lot of gains already. But again, there's no telling what's going to happen. We certainly don't know. There's no way to know.
No, there's no way to know. One thing that we kind of all can probably agree on is that we didn't know where we would be 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
When we get together again 10 weeks from now, as usual, I'll be really excited to see where we're at.
And that's it.
Me too.
I want to give a huge thanks to you, Mr. Not So Fast. It is always we always enjoy having you on here for these 10-week recap shows.
Oh, same here. The honor and pleasure is mine. And, every 10 weeks, it seems like you guys hit another milestone. There's lots of live listeners checking it out. There's people that love the deep dive that you do, and the data that you put together is totally fantastic. You are a very, very positive force in the blockchain space. So thank you on behalf of probably everybody listening and everybody
awesome.
who
Thanks.
should be listening.
Our promise to you and all the other people is we're gonna do better. We got it. We got this coming.
Yep,
we're excited.
We're going to keep up with it. A big shout out to
Awesome.
the person who won the dot reward. Congratulations on getting that trivia question right. As always, do check out cryptopia.co.nz. There's a really great altcoin platform, a ton of great futures. They've been around for a long time. It's just really a great place to trade. There's the type of stuff you're trading there. There's coins that you can't trade anywhere else. Really promising, really interesting stuff. So it's always been real fun to been able to partner up with those guys.
Absolutely. Check us out on that forum thread over in the altcoin section there at Cryptopia. Also blockchaindynamics.net. This has been show number 70. We're on Error by Trial Radio if you ever want to check it out. And you know what? We'll see you next week with way heavier bags.
Peace.
See ya.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.